Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. I'm up in northern Maine, the Maine North Woods. I just came in through the 6-mile checkpoint at near Ashland, Maine. It's the 6-mile check-in point.
I am the gate tender.
And this is the North Maine Woods organization, right?
This is North Maine Woods. Absolutely.
Okay, now North Maine Woods, is that state-owned or is it like private?
No, it's privately owned by 17 different entities, landowners.
Okay.
One of them is the largest one is J.D. Irving.
Okay. Irving like gas?
Irving like, yeah, lumber.
Okay, Irving lumber. Okay, yeah.
It's a family.
Okay. So you hang out here until 9 o'clock at night checking people in?
I do. I come in at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm here until 9 o'clock at night for two days, and then I am here until 1:30 on Wednesday.
Nice.
And then I get to go home.
This is the Moosehorn Crossing campsite. Designated camping only here in the Maine North Woods. But I have this absolutely gorgeous stream here. I've got my kayak here. This is my folding kayak. It's just a small kayak if I come on any woods, lakes. But I'm pretty full here. I got a full load of stuff here. I didn't know what to expect. Lots of clothing. A couple of sets of clothing. Warm weather, fall weather, and deep winter weather. I have clothing that'll keep me down to single digits if it gets that cold. I didn't know anything about this. I just came here and just started driving down these roads, and it's pretty important your trailer be dustproof and waterproof. Ended up at the 6-mile checkpoint, which is in the middle of nowhere. You go to the window and you meet Jody, and Jody runs that place, and it's all wood, this cabin. She's in there, she got her computer set up, and she checks you in, and she makes sure that everything is okay. Like she looked at my, my car had a bicycle on top. She told me I couldn't take that in because these are high-speed logging roads back. I had to stash my mountain bike in the woods. They wouldn't let me take it into the Maine North Woods because of the logging truck. So, no problem complying. Came back and Jody finished my check-in. Online were all these guys, well-dressed woodsmen, and orange hats, and really nice gear. And they were all checking in too. They're all here for the moose hunt. And the #1 RV I'm seeing here is these guys are hauling in these 35-foot to 50-foot trailers. They're fifth wheels and stuff like that. They're bringing them in, and some people are carrying these big fuel tanks, big propane tanks. I mean, 5-foot, 6-foot high propane tanks. And they're going to spend the month here. It's bow season this month. I just use my camera, and I just take pictures. That's all. And they're a nice bunch of fellas. I talked with them. They were great. It's a real cultural experience. I loved it. Campsite has a pretty nice toilet. Looks new. Cedar wood. Locking door. Skylight. Smells decent. It's June or July. I needed help. I was putting these solar panels down on grass just like this in hot sun in an open field. And I was hitting the 90s then, and it was scorching the grass below it. When I pick up the panels, there'd be a burnt spot. So I didn't like that. I prefer to make no impact because it's also sterilizing the soil and killing other things. So I asked my viewers for some help, and sure enough, I got a couple of really good solutions. So thank you, everyone. I didn't go for the trellis made out of PVC pipe. I didn't go for 2x4s, too heavy. And the PVC pipe would have been, a lot. I didn't go for stones. I didn't go for a number of different things. So the requirement was that it had to be small, lightweight, and cheap. Now, this solution cost me I think it was $3 or $4, and I was at the top of my budget. The winner is golf tees. So I put these golf tees down, and they work just great. I put a whole bunch of them down. I mean, there's probably close to 80 of them out here, but they're working great. Now, second runner-up came from Todd at Birdfish channel on YouTube, and he suggested 10 stakes because I already have them along. I counted it. It would take about 40 stakes I might have that many with me. I'll have to count them. But a stake you more or less often have to pound into the ground. A golf tee, you always just press it in and it goes just fine. But there are times the golf tee may not work, and the stakes will probably work fine. So thank you to everybody. I have a nice portable solution now, and it'll protect the grass by keeping the solar panels off the grass. I did desulfate the battery. I just want to mention this again. I desulfated the battery in a campground before I came here. My charge controller has a setting for that, and it definitely improved the battery. It fixed a problem which I've described in other videos. It helps the battery maintain its health. And the way you tell that is the battery was only charging to a certain voltage before. Let's just say it was charging up to 13 when it used to charge up to 13.25. And after the desulfation, it's charging again. It's charging it to a higher voltage. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I've done it before, and it's worked, and it's prolonged the battery life. I'm pretty pleased. The battery voltage has gotten up to 14.18. This is after desulfation. I wasn't getting much above 13 before. So I'm pretty pleased with the battery performance. This is a VMAX Tanks. I'll have a link in the comments for it. It's a heavy battery. You can tell a good battery because they're heavier. They have more lead. And for AGM battery, lithium, AGM or lead acid battery, this is a good one. I wanted to have a lot of footwear. I brought these flip-flops because I thought I would use them when I stopped at the KOA to take a shower. One of the benefits is a laundry. You know, it kind of stinks to go to a laundromat, and if you do spend the night at a campground, it's always nice if they have a laundry. And the facilities are okay. You know, we're way up along the Canadian border. Men's room is clean, it's nice. You know, great urinals. You know, and the stalls are clean. Everything's nice and clean. Showers are okay. Nothing to complain about. Took a nice hot shower here. No coins needed here in the KOA. One of the accommodations they have is this onion tent, and you can rent this thing. I didn't find out how much it rents for, but it's a pretty interesting accommodation. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of footwear. Well, you know, it's a lot of various conditions. I have to be ready for snow, very, very wet conditions, and hot conditions, and everything in between. So I always keep in mind where the sun is when I throw out the solar panels. So this way is west, and what I want the earliest morning sun I can possibly get, and that would be this way, and it looks like it's going to be pretty good tomorrow. On the way in, the roads are pretty bumpy. This trailer has a torsion bar suspension. A lot of people claim a torsion bar suspension is an off-road suspension. It is if you take it off-road. Same with the Timberin suspension. There's no dampening. They'll take the sharp bite out of the bump, but they don't provide any cushioning the way a shock absorber does to keep your wheel on the ground and all. If you're going too fast, you'll get wheel hop. So the solution to that's pretty simple. Just slow down, take it easy. I fueled up before I came in here because there's 360 million acres of wilderness out here, and I want to try and explore as much of it as I can. You definitely want to bring some brightly colored hats. I'm out here cold camping. It's got down to 30 degrees last night. It's like about 33 right now. And one of the things you're going to face in an RV, a tent, whatever you're camping in, is condensation. You know, you're dealing with cold walls. Even if you have insulation, the walls can be cold. And you're breathing, that's a pint of water a night, and it's going to collect just like water does on a cold glass of water on a hot day. You're going to get condensation. And for me, what works for me is to ventilate. So I have a heater in here. I ran heat last night. It kept me nice and warm. I turned it off when I went to sleep because I have a warm sleeping bag. And, you know, the walls of the trailer are going to cool down then. So what I do is really simple, and I don't want to make more of this than I should. I crack this vent up on top, maybe a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch. And that'll bleed off some of the hot air. And yes, it will lower the temperature in here. But I have a nice warm sleeping bag, and I'm good. I sleep with a hat on. The other thing I do is I open these ventilation ports here on the sides. They're down low, and there's one over there. I open those just a little crack, only one notch on the opening, and that allows flow-through ventilation. The air is bleeding out the top, and fresh air is coming in from here. And I get no condensation on the walls, so I'm pretty happy about that. I get a tiny bit of condensation on these metals here. This is called a cold bridge. It brings the cold in from the outside, and I do get a tiny bit of condensation there. Now that's nothing, okay? That's actually nothing. The ceiling's dry, the walls are dry. This could be a much larger problem if you're using like a Mr. Heater, those catalytic heaters. It's much more of a problem because they have they give off 20 ounces of water every pound of propane you burn with those. So my heater is a Propex heater, and it's a dry heater. It pumps the air out of the trailer, the combustion fumes out of the trailer, and just pumps hot air into the trailer, dry hot air. So I'll show you where I do get condensation, and it's to be expected. I have this magnificent window here, and it's really great. I mean, it's a feature that I just love in this trailer, this window. But I do get condensation, and that's why I have that pull-down skylight shade. That gives me plenty of insulation here. Without that, the trailer would be ice cold. So, and that prevents any moisture from dripping on me or anything. If I have to, I'll take a towel and wipe this down if it doesn't dry. But as you notice, it's morning, and the first thing I do is I open up the trailer and air it out quite a bit and let it dry. So I'm pretty happy. I think the trailer is just great. I had no condensation on the side windows, hardly any. This window had a little bit. Just had a little, let me see if I can catch it in the light. Yeah, you might see it down here. That's hardly anything. You know, if you have an RV, you're envious right now, right? I mean, this trailer is well designed, okay? I see people talking about other trailers. I'll go toe-to-toe with any other trailer for features. I'm real happy with this guy. So, you know, it's just me in here. When I have a second person along, you know, there's more condensation. And, you know, and I can still deal with that. It's not a problem. You know, it's a hard sell to explain to your guest that you need to have ventilation on a cold night. But there's other ways to keep warm, you know, and I use them all. Pack a dog in here, 2 people and a dog, you're going to have even more condensation. But I think, you know, you just have to ventilate a little more and let that out and dry out in the morning. I've camped in tents in sub-zero weather, and you know, you have a thick frost coating in the tent in the morning. And when you move around, it starts snowing in there. And if you're in there when the sun hits it, it'll start raining in there. And these are good tents. I'm not talking some, you know, some $20 tent. I'm talking expedition tents. And the same rules there. Ventilate. You have to ventilate on a cold night. It's counterintuitive, but it works really well for me. These holes here. This is the work of a yellow-bellied sapsucker. That's what these holes are. They come and they drill holes. And when the sap comes out, bugs and things get stuck in the sap, and they eat that. And supposedly it's not harmful for the trees, but this tree has seen better days. So the woods are full of hunters, tons of hunters. Moose season is now. A lot of these hunters just drive around like I'm doing, and they'll be in a pickup truck. They'll have a guy in the back in the bed with a rifle. And what they want to do is they want to bag a moose right on the road so they don't have to haul them out very far. And so you'll find a number of hunters just driving around up here waiting for some unfortunate moose to be crossing the road. They're also bird hunting. Grouse and I think ptarmigan are in.